Story 1. Subscriptions for everything. I miss the good old days when you bought something and then it was just yours. Story 2. Advertisements used to be on the radio before movies and in the newspaper. Now they are everywhere. Story 3. The poreless skin trend. Professional retoucher here. I spend 40 hours a week zooming into the faces of models and influencers. Let me tell you a secret. They have texture, peach fuzz, and bumps. The trend of blurring skin until it looks like a glazed donut has warped everyone's reality. I literally have clients who reject perfectly retouched photos because they can see skin. They want to look like a filtered TikTok video. I have to gently explain, ma'am, if I remove all the texture from your nose, you will not look young. You will look like a burn victim or a wax figure. Texture is human. Pores are not a defect. They are biology. We need to stop trying to look like artificial intelligence-generated avatars. Story 4. Celebration of one's ignorance, or I guess anti-intellectualism. Story 5. I would eliminate those 2-week microtrends in fashion that create a lot of waste. Mindless consumption. Story 6. People who listen to videos, have video chats, or use speakerphone in public without headphones. They can fuck all the way off. Story 7. The rich are getting richer, and the rest of us are getting poorer. Story 8. The push toward everything being made with generative artificial intelligence should not exist. Humans are not responsible enough to have this technology. Story 9. I would like people to stop filming themselves while working out. Story 10. The pathologizing of everything. Can't we just be weird, sad, or different without it being seen as a disorder that needs fixing? Sometimes humans are just messy. Story 11. TikTok pranks that are really just being mean to strangers. Story 12. Any trend that pressures people to look or live in a particular way. Story 13. Parents exploiting their children for money, especially on social media. Story 14. Anyone is allowed to say whatever they want on social media. If you blatantly lie from a monetized account, you should be held responsible. This applies to health influencers, political commentators, and others who spread misinformation. Story 15. The trend of karma farming the same questions on the AskReddit subreddit has been widespread. I've seen it asked numerous times this week. Story 16. Defending abusers to keep the peace and telling people to be the bigger person. Story 17. Family blogging or filming babies and young children for social media in general is not right. Story 18. Fake turtle rescue videos and nearly any other animal-related trend that harms animals. Story 19. Oligarchs are trying to rule everything and everyone. I've noticed in interviews that a few of them are not as smart as they think. They did nothing to earn their wealth. They were simply born into it and display little to no ethics or morals. Story 20. And shitification. Stop charging more to make things worse. Keep the same quality. Story 21. Cybertrucks, please. They are simply ugly. And I know your peripheral vision is non-existent because you are surrounded by metal. Story 22. Billionaires are all evil, even Taylor Swift. No one earns that kind of money through hard work. The only way to get that rich is by exploiting others. Story 23. Forcing your child out at age 18 without preparing them for the world. Story 24. Celebrity worship is the belief that obscene wealth is earned. Story 25. Stupid, unqualified clowns being elected to any office anywhere. Story 26. Electing objectively stupid anti-science egomaniacs to high office. Story 27. I miss when we did not have to pay for everything or watch advertisements every 20 seconds. Story 28. Workaholism. Fuck everything about the work until you die culture we have built. I hate watching people waste their lives trying to stack hours. Fuck hours. Story 29. War is used to settle conflicts ranging from religious differences to border disputes and everything in between. Story 30. The rich are being held up as some sort of success story or model to emulate. Story 31. Unnecessary body modifications such as Brazilian butt lifts, fillers, and veneers. Story 32. I hate pop-up ads. I miss the times when the internet was not full of them. Story 33. Makeup tutorials in which creators hold each of their 256 products up to the camera, then do wiggly fingers and a head tilt at the end. They are annoying. Story 34. An increasing number of people believe those who speak with authority even when they are not authorities regarding what they are discussing. This occurs in health topics with wellness grifters and influencers, and in politics, history, and other areas. It is part of a decline in critical, independent thinking, while echo chamber social media makes the problem worse. Story 35. Being aloof or mean to people who are passionate about something because it's cringe is harmful. Instead of tearing each other down, even over small things, we should build each other up and not dampen each other's light. Story 36. Some people think it is their job to judge others. This is transphobia. Why do so many people see what others choose to do with their bodies as a threat? Story 37. The trend of asking the same question every couple of days on this subreddit. Story 38. There is a trend where no one loves for real anymore. Everything is just casual, temporary, and let's not get too serious. People are so afraid to care that they forget love is supposed to mean something. Story 39. I thought it said erase one friend and thought that was mean, but I already had an answer ready. Story 40. When people wore Bluetooth earpieces and kept them on 24 hours a day, for fuck's sake, it was a strange time for some people. Story 41. Act nonchalantly. Let people show that they care about things, for fuck's sake. Story 42. Tucking the front of your shirt into your pants does not make you look slimmer. Story 43. Phones are out at weddings. Instagram influencers. Social media accounts that show couples pranking each other and posting intimate moments. Story 44. Lip filler often looks out of place on many people. Lips are natural and do not need adjustment. Story 45. Everyone is filming everything. Oh my goodness. Put the phone down and just enjoy the moment. Not everything needs to be made into a TikTok or an Instagram reel. Story 46. People playing music loud enough to be heard outside their vehicle or home. Story 47. This post showed up in my feed directly above a picture of a spatchcock turkey. I thought, damn, the original poster takes his Thanksgiving really seriously. Then I realized it was a different post. I'm going to bed to avoid dreaming about cooking Thanksgiving foods. Story 48. Social media makes it easy to spread falsehoods. When you had to pay for photocopies at Kinko's, it was much harder. Now it is just a post every few moments. Story 49. YouTube animal rescue channels that deliberately put animals in danger so they can film themselves pretending to rescue them. It does not take long to realize that the kitten they rescued from a well, a river, oil, and being buried in mud is the same animal repeatedly. Story 50. I think getting rid of smartphones would eliminate many harmful trends. Story 51. Taxes because the world wars do not need to be funded anymore. Story 52. In order for me to win, you must lose. What happened to the win-win outcome? Story 53. Pets don't live long enough given how incredible they are. Story 54. Stop being glued to social media and responding immediately. Get off the screens. Real life is outside. Story 55. Microtransactions in video games make fighting games feel ruined. Story 56. Evil seems to be trendy right now. We could do with a bit less of it. Story 57. Voters who support a party because their parents did or because they have always done so. Story 58. Good morning. Many products lack scientific studies showing they will make you look younger. Chin straps were used in the 1920s and 1930s. They did not work then and do not work now. Many of these products are single-use and are thrown away, polluting the environment. All for a rather boring video of you taking them off. Story 59. Lip injections for women rarely look good and more often than not ruin a person's face, as with some celebrities such as Meg Ryan. Story 60. As a current first-grade teacher, that damn 6 to 7 nonsense. Story 61. This is the dumbest thing in the fucking world. It needs to die. Story 62. Wearing visors flipped up or backwards. Really? Story 63. There is just so much, but this is fresh on my mind. People, stop leaving your cars running while you sit in them. I know it does not matter compared to all the other pollution humans create, but it irritates me because it is completely unnecessary. Saying you want the air conditioning does not excuse refrigerant pollution and heating the planet through increased electricity consumption to cool our homes. Story 64. Comparison has been amplified by social media and causes significant problems for everyone, because even those who do not compare must deal with others' insecurities. Story 65. Anything related to overconsumption, with influencers constantly spending large amounts of money on junk and creating waste for attention. This is just pathetic. Story 66. Generative artificial intelligence for everything. If I want to draw something, I will learn how to draw it. If I want to edit a video, I will learn how to edit. Supporters of generative artificial intelligence totally miss the point that art and creation are processes. They only recognize the end product, which is in itself meaningless, and they cannot even get that part right. Story 67. Artificial intelligence is getting out of hand. Apparently people are using it to clone keys and break into cars. This is becoming iRobot. Story 68. I am not sure this would be my final answer because I do not think removing it from the world would necessarily improve things, but right now I really dislike the trend of streamers hate watching other creators' content or old media. In the last few months, I have seen a number of Twitch streamers I genuinely do regular watch-alongs of other people's content and simply pick it apart and criticize it. I often agree with the criticism, but I do not want to watch the content, and I do not like centering the negativity. Stop drawing attention to it and make something joyful. I know I do not have to watch, but because this seems to be a growing trend, it is displacing the content I do like, much like how reality television ruined cable. Story 69. Having to use a scan tool to perform simple maintenance like oil changes or brake service is frustrating. Software updates on vehicle computers are also a hassle. Radio, engine control module, transmission control module, and anti-lock braking system updates are especially frustrating. Story 70. If anti-intellectualism and anti-science were eradicated, we would be rid of right-wing populism. Story 71. Seeking wisdom from actors, singers, pop idols, or mainstream influencers. Story 72. I am tired of the trend where people hate on mainstream stuff to seem different or cool. Just because something is popular does not mean it is overrated. If you do not like it, fine, but stop acting as if hating what someone else enjoys is a badge of honor. Story 73. I would end the do anything for content trend. People act as if a camera is more important than common sense. Story 74. Rent-seeking behavior by businesses will degrade everything in no time at all. Thank you, computers. Story 75. I am tired of the whole unboxing video trend. I do not need to watch a 12-minute video of someone opening a box of socks with the intensity of a bomb disposal expert. Just tell me if the socks are comfortable. Story 76. If I could erase one trend, it would definitely be the obsession with unrealistic beauty standards. Let us celebrate our uniqueness instead. Story 77. Filming and photographing accident sites. I do not know whether these people are beyond help or could be made to understand that they are disrespecting people at a moment of extreme vulnerability and essentially turning the real injuries and deaths of others into entertainment. Story 78. Recording people and uploading the footage online for virtual points. Story 79. Every little thing wants to take away all my time and attention. Story 80. Cringe culture is the idea that anyone should be embarrassed about their hobbies, or that it is cool to make them feel that way. It creates unnecessary misery and aggression. I thought it had gone out of fashion forever, but it seems to be making a comeback. Story 81. Cilantro does not belong in any food. Story 82. Honestly, the whole artificial intelligence thing is astonishing. Cleverbot was neat as a concept, but what artificial intelligence has evolved into makes me glad I didn't go into graphic design. Story 83. Amputating the foreskin of healthy babies for no good reason. Story 84. People who unquestioningly support the tech industry's innovations. Story 85. Companies are putting random artificial intelligence and large language models into everything. People who like chatbots or artificial intelligence generated art have dedicated websites for that. There is no point in features like Microsoft Copilot for more knowledgeable users, because the market is ordinary consumers with limited technical knowledge, and executives sometimes believe that adding artificial intelligence to every product will produce infinite growth. I also hate forcing chatbots into places where they do not belong. I want a real person for troubleshooting, not a large language model. Story 86. Conservatism. Only by working together can we progress as a species. No, most things were not better 70 years ago, Grandpa. Story 87. With streaming music, artists need a medium through which to sell physical products. Story 88. Movie adaptations of books or comics that make everything so dark and gritty. Have some fun. Story 89. The Dembo beat ruins any song for me. I have no problem with anyone who uses or enjoys it, but it annoys me to no end. Story 90. This question is asked daily. No, sorry. I will say the ones everyone else will. Brazilian butt lift, buccal fat removal, or any plastic surgery. Did I nail it? Story 91. The fire challenge. Incinerating yourself is already gruesome enough. Story 92. Health and fitness influencers. You all have no idea what you are talking about. Story 93. Artificial intelligence image splicing is wasting so much water on a skill that anyone can learn. Story 94. Are influencers a trend or just a TikTok phenomenon? I am going to say influencers. Story 95. Oversharing on social media is unsafe and should not be normalized. Story 96. This is the trend of making an ass of yourself or being a shithead in public for social media clout. Story 97. Glass skin is an unrealistic standard that makes normal texture and pores seem like flaws. Story 98. Partners shame each other by staging a prank called "Let us see if she or he is cheating." Story 99. Racism. You might say it does not qualify strictly as a trend, but it is certainly a trend right now in America. Story 100. Any medical-adjacent business gives the "if this is a medical emergency" statement on their phone recordings. Why did we all decide this was a thing now? Story 101. Turning every product into a smart device. I don't need my toaster connected to the wireless network. Story 102. The carnivore diet and, in particular, the influencers who promote it and profit from it are problematic. Paul Saladino is no longer following the diet, yet he continues to promote his book about it. How is that legal? They can take a 3-page study and highlight only the parts that make the diet look good, knowing full well that most people will not read the entire study. Story 103. Planned obsolescence and devices that are hard to open are frustrating. I miss the days when you could replace parts on almost every device you owned. Story 104. The concept of money. Fuck capitalism until the end of time. Story 105. The urge to monetize every single thing. Let me enjoy a hobby for fun. Story 106. No one should have to deal with chronic illness. Those who fake it need to find a new hobby. Story 107. I am not saying it will fix everything, but the number of egotistical women I have met just because they started an OnlyFans account is astonishing. Story 108. Rich people and influencers are buying and promoting either cheap fast fashion items full of toxic chemicals or outrageously expensive Chanel and Gucci items that most of their followers cannot afford. Almost every influencer is doing the same thing. It is getting tiring. Story 109. Disney's poor remake trend. Every one of them is terrible. By next year, it will be a 12-year streak. Story 110. Rent-seeking behavior by businesses will quickly degrade everything. Thanks, computers. Story 111. Everything is turning into a gender debate. People need to go to therapy. Story 112. Human shortcomings like capitalism or corruption. I would do an in-depth analysis of what would be the best choice, but I mean issues like those. Story 113. Words such as anyway and the frequent use of like. Story 114. There is a trend claiming that it is impossible to succeed in America. 80% of millionaires did not come from high-earning families. Story 115. Videos generated by artificial intelligence using synthetic voices to attract views. Story 116. Everyone who gets their feelings slightly hurt and runs to a therapist to whine about their trauma. What a scam that entire industry is. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.